Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski from joybaking.com. Today we're going to make New York cheesecake. I like this cheesecake with a graham cracker crust, so that is what we're going to make first. You will need a 9-inch, that's 23 centimeter, springform pan, and either butter it or spray it with a non-stick spray. And then in a large bowl, we're going to put 2 cups, that's 200 grams of graham cracker crumbs. You could use finely crushed digestive biscuits. And then we're going to add 1/4 cup, 50 grams of granulated white sugar, and 1/2 cup, 115 grams of melted butter. This in, and then you can use a rubber spatula or a wooden spoon. Just stir until all the crumbs are moistened with the butter. And then just pour that into your pan. And then you can use a spoon or your fingers. Just press this as evenly as you can over the bottom and up the sides, just a little up the sides of your pan. And that's it. So just cover it with a piece of plastic wrap and place it in the refrigerator to chill, and then we'll get started on the cheesecake filling. So now we're going to make the cheesecake filling. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 180 degrees Celsius. And we will need, for the cheesecake batter, we will need 32 ounces, that's 1 kilogram, of cream cheese at room temperature, and use a full-fat cream cheese. We will need 1 cup, that's 200 grams, of granulated white sugar, 3 tablespoons, 30 grams of all-purpose white flour, 5 large eggs, and have those at room temperature. We need 1/3 cup, that's 80 milliliters, of heavy cream, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and 1 tablespoon of grated lemon zest. That's the yellow outer skin of your lemon. Before we begin, let's talk a little about the difference between a cheesecake batter and a butter cake batter. When you make a butter cake, you beat the ingredients for quite a long time. And this is so you get lots of little air pockets forming. And then once in the oven, the combination of the baking powder and the heat from the oven will cause those air pockets to expand and the cake will rise. But when we make a cheesecake, we want a dense texture. So that means we don't want a lot of air in the batter. So we just want to beat the ingredients until they're now nice and blended and smooth. So to begin, we're going to place the cream cheese into the bowl of your mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer like this, that's fine. You could use an electric hand mixer with just a large bowl. And then we're just going to beat this until it's all blended smooth and no lumps in the cream cheese. You may have to scrape down your bowl and your beater a bit. And then just beat this on low to medium low speed. You want to scrape down your bowl fairly often, so you make sure everything's got blended and smooth. Okay. Next, we're going to add the sugar and the flour, and then just beat that until it's all incorporated into the cream cheese. Sugar and the flour. Just beat this for a couple minutes on medium speed. Again, I'm just going to scrape the sides, and then we're going to add the eggs one at a time, beating each one in and then adding the next one, and then scrape down the sides again as you need to. There's a lot of ingredients here. I'll make sure everything's incorporated. So, the first egg. As you can see, this is not a difficult batter to make. It's just mixing all the ingredients together. Just want to make sure there's no lumps, because you want your cheesecake to be nice and creamy smooth. And then we'll just add this last egg. I'm going to take this off because I want to give this a really good stir to make sure everything's blended before we add the final 3 ingredients. Because while a few lumps are okay, we don't want many. Okay. So now we'll just add the cream. The vanilla, it's for a little flavor. And the lemon zest, this kind of cuts the sweet richness of the cheesecake and adds a little lemon flavor, which is very nice. And just beat that until smooth. And we're done. That. just going to pour it into our chilled crust that we had in the fridge. I slopped a little on myself. It's okay. And just smooth the top. Now we're going to bake this in the preheated oven for 15 minutes, and then we're going to lower the temperature to 250 degrees, which is 120 Celsius, and for about an hour and a quarter, an hour and a half. And a cheesecake is done when it's set and firm, but yet the center of the cheesecake is still wet, and if you kind of shake the pan gently, it's still a little wobbly. So into the oven it goes. Our cheesecake is now done. As you can see, it's firm, yet when I shake the pan gently, the center wobbles a little. Now, a New York cheesecake needs a sour cream topping. So in a small bowl, I have combined 1 cup, that's 240 milliliters of sour cream, with 2 tablespoons of white sugar and a half a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Now, I'm just going to pour this over the hot cheesecake. And then with the back of the spoon, just spread this as evenly as you can over the top of the cheesecake. Now, I don't think I mentioned before, but always have your springform pan on a larger baking sheet before you put it in the oven, so that if the cheesecake does leak at all, it will catch all the drips so it doesn't dirty your oven. So there we go. Let's spread that. As evenly as possible. And we're going to return this to the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. While your cheesecake is still hot, take a sharp knife and run it around the inside edge of the pan. This will separate the cheesecake from the pan, which will prevent any cracking. Let your cheesecake cool completely before covering and placing in the refrigerator. I like to chill it for several hours, preferably overnight before serving. Until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski for joyofbaking.com.